Hey folks, how you doing? All right. Uh, I wanted to say something about prophecy. Prophecy. Does prophecies come true? I believe so. But what is the problem? Why don't more people take hold to the prophecy, pay attention to it? Because they don't understand it. They may read something about prophecy and they will understand, let's say, the literal interpretation or the one that they give it, okay? But if you don't understand the underlying principles upon which prophecy is based on, you're not going to understand the prophecy, you see. So now, there's a prophecy, okay, that was told by two kingdoms, okay? That was the Maya, who said that the world was going by water, and the Kemites, the ancient Egyptians. They too prophesied the same thing. But when you look at these two prophecies, you see something different. Because you're looking at the literal interpretation, the actual reading, the wording that you see. You see, you're not going into the depths of it. You're not getting into the underlying principle. It is this underlying principle that links things together that appear different to us, you see. So we've heard of the four elements, like fire, water, air, and earth, okay? We've heard of them. But do we know how to use them? Okay. These things need to be used. That's what they're all about. The word of wisdom is not a word of wisdom unless you use it wisely. Okay. And so this goes to the four elements, which I'm going to mention at least one, okay, when I tie these prophecies together. Okay. So the Inca or the Maya said that the world was going to end by water. Now let's look at water. Okay? What is associated with water? Knowledge, the female, darkness, etc. Things of this nature are associated with water. Okay? So now when they say, well, you know, the world's going to be destroyed by water, are they talking about actual water? Well, it looks that way. Given today's situation, you know, with climate change and all that, it looks that way. They talk about sea rise and all that, you know, but that don't mean it's gonna kill everybody. If it kills anybody, it'll kill a few folks, I guess. But anyway, so we say water, you know, so and it's associated with knowledge and it's associated with the female. Okay. The knowledge of the female, okay, we say is the container, or the one who harbors knowledge. The knowledge is feminine, not masculine. So it's with the female, okay? But what went wrong? Usually when there's a destruction or something, somewhere along the line something went wrong, okay? So when they say that the water's going to be destroyed by, the world's going to be destroyed by water, okay, they're talking about the female doing the destruction, okay, and we wonder why, okay. But anyway, those who created the situation that has to be rectified were men. So if the female destroys the world, she's not destroying herself. She's going to destroy those who created the problem. Men. Why? Because knowledge provides a foundation for intelligence. And if someone comes along and wants to use the intelligence without that foundation of knowledge, they go wrong. So therefore, men took it upon themselves to use their intelligence without knowledge. They pushed the woman aside. This actually happened. So anyway, okay, they did it on their own. Remember the age of reasoning? They talked about it in school and stuff. And all the philosophers, Kant, Shakespeare, whoever, they was doing their writing and everything. They wasn't basing it on knowledge. And so we come up with this age of the industrial age and all that. It was based on intelligence. Oh yeah, they soared ahead with it. And now we're suffering from it. Climate change. Okay? So now we have the prophecy to say, well, the world will be destroyed by water. Okay. But what does the Kemites say? How can we tie these things together? Now, when you use the underlying principle of water, okay, we sort of explained that. Okay. But what did the Kemites do? Okay. So there was the solar god who was upset because he said that men blasphemed against him. They talked about him, he says. And he was upset. He didn't like it. And he wanted to punish men for it. Now this is the prophecy. I'm really summarizing. He says that he wants to punish them for it. Okay. So he consults his gods and so forth and so on. But ultimately, he gets the goddess Hether. Hether. They call her Hether, but Hether is the name. To destroy mankind. But she's a female. She's a goddess. She's associated with water. Okay? So if she destroys mankind, it is destroying the world of mankind with water. Because she's the water. The underlying principle of Hetherden was water. And now we can see that we can make the connection between the Maya prophecy and here now about this story or this tale about the Kemites destroying the world. So, okay, so she goes about slaughtering the men. Okay? And the streets ran high with blood. Well, blood can be translated into water because it's a liquid. Okay? So you see, water again comes into the situation. You see? But now, the solar god was so pleased with the work that she did that he placed her on in heaven, on high, the highest goddess. She's the top chief of heaven, over men and all. You see what I mean? Okay. Because of the wonderful job that she did with destroying men. But she didn't destroy the earth. She didn't kill everybody. Women are still here. You know what I mean? So we get this idea how these two prophecies are related. We was able to relate these two prophecies through the underlying principle of water in this case. Okay? They say all things are born out of water. So now we have, we go into destruction and creative evolution. Now, the female created man. Okay? And she taught him everything. She shared her knowledge with him. And told him how this knowledge could come into intelligence or become intelligence. But they told him, use knowledge first and base your intelligence on the knowledge. That way you won't be basing intelligence on a lie. People can use a lie intelligently. Like the demagogues, and the people who lie, try to scare the heck out of you so that you will follow them, put fear in their heart. Yeah, that's the demagogue. Okay. So anyway, we have destruction and creative evolution. So in order to come with the creative evolution, okay, we must destroy that which went before. Okay. So now, as the solar god put the Heather in heaven, made her the chief goddess, okay, she done already did the destruction. She destroyed mankind. So now she had to come up with this creative evolution. Okay. So this tells us that there must be a death before there is a life. And it's all through the scriptures, you know. But anyway, so the women came up with the first creation, which they did, okay. They forged a way for humanity. It was women who did that. There were no men here at that time. Men came later, and the mythology tells us this. She was the creator, she was the forger, and that's why I would say she taught men. But they deviated. So now she's got to create a new civilization or so forth, a new world of people, okay? But we must remember that the scripture speaks of what was, is, and shall be. That's a cycle. It tells us that things go in cycles. What is happening now has happened before. So she's going to recreate at this point, okay, given that the world's in terrible shape, I should say. The world's crying out for help. The earth, okay. And so it's up to women to straighten this out. To straighten out the civilization. It's up to the woman to get the folks to start using knowledge first, intelligence second. Like they did in earlier times. When the first humans came on this planet, foraging for food and whatnot, they didn't have intelligence. They didn't even have a cerebral cortex. It grew in later, during the course of evolution, during the course of the progress that the human made. The human already had evolved into a human, but they just didn't have early humans didn't have a cerebral cortex. Okay. So they didn't think. They didn't use intelligence. Intelligence came in later. They used knowledge. Intelligence came in later. Other animals use knowledge too. So did the human. As a matter of fact, the human learned how to make words, sounds, and so forth and so on from the animals. What else? Wasn't no one else here. Okay. So anyway, these early humans, okay, used knowledge. It was later, much later, before they start using intelligence. That is when the cerebral cortex grew, okay? Early humans had small heads, really. But when the cerebral cortex grew, the skull grew in order to accommodate that growth. So then they start using intelligence. And then the man came on the scene, okay? And they taught him intelligence, but he deviated. He didn't base it on knowledge. Okay, folks, that's the prophecy, all right? They're creating a new civilization. Okay, folks, bye.